Hello, dear friends. Welcome back to my channel. Thank you for spending this time with me and sharing this space with me. No matter where you've been today and no matter where you may find yourself in this very moment, I hope that you find peace and calm. So please share with me 3 mindful breaths to get centered, to get calm as we start today's video. So breathing in, breathing out. In, out. In, out. How is that? Very nice, isn't it? It just instantly calms and anchors you in the present moment. And it feels wonderful. So today, dear friends, we are going to be speaking about life cycles and how to live with intention. So as I was just contemplating on what type of video that I feel called to share today, it really brought me back to an observation that I had yesterday. So yesterday in Canada was a holiday. So as we observed the holiday, my family and I went to the mall, and it was just hustling and bustling with really fast, energetic energy, happiness, but at the same time, really busy. And as I was walking throughout the mall and I just took in all of my surroundings, and my eyes just caught a glimpse of this child that was being pushed on a stroller with their parents. And I was just thinking, oh, how cute, how precious this new life really is. Being a mother myself, my daughter's only 3 years old right now, but whenever I see other children, it just strikes my heart in a different way that I feel only a parent can really understand what I'm speaking about. And then I was just observing people walking back and forth. And then I caught a glimpse of a family walking through the mall, and they were pushing their elderly, grandmother, whomever that person is. But it was basically a really, really old lady, an elderly lady. And they were going really slowly, and she was sitting in one of those wheelchairs that you push. And I couldn't help but really think, oh my goodness, like you literally begin life in a stroller and you eventually land and exit this life from a wheelchair. And it's just a really awakening experience about the life cycle of birth, from youth to elderly and then ultimately death. So I was just really thinking, oh my goodness, how really short this life really is. To think about it, an average human being really has 80, 90 years on this planet Earth, if you're lucky. And to really think of it, how you live in between that time frame of adolescence to elderlyhood, whatever you may call it, really is just eye-opening. And I'm just thinking about all the worries, doubts, fears that we have in this lifetime. What is it even for? Why is it that we're wasting our time just living in this whole cycle of daily grind? And as you get older, I feel like time just goes by even faster and faster and faster. And since becoming a parent, it just felt like it's even faster now, just because your days are filled with so many life's obligations. But then thinking back a few years ago, I was busy thinking about work and how to make it in the world and how to feel successful. And then prior to that, I was in the cocoon of my family, and I was they were always busy taking care of me to make sure that I grew up strong and healthy and thriving. And then thinking back to the moments when I was just born and I was this fresh, young, sweet, full of optimism child. And just observing my life from the distance of the past, it just feels like it was so fleeting and it was so quick. And here I am today, approaching 40 years of life and thinking, is this it? And of course, I'm still young. It's not like I'm old. But at the same time, it's like looking back the past 40 years of my life. And then if I'm really lucky, I have 40 years ahead. And how may I live it to the best of my ability so that when I'm on my deathbed, I could actually feel like, you know what? I feel like I've lived a very fulfilling life. Like, isn't that the ultimate goal for everyone, is to really have no regrets and to feel like they've lived a life well lived? And I know that speaking about death and like things like that, I know that it could conjure up a lot of feelings of fear or like apprehension. And, you don't even really want to speak about it. I feel like whenever I'm speaking to friends or family and I'm speaking about death and things like that, I find that the automatic response usually is that, oh, don't be so negative. Oh, no, you're going to live a long life. Don't even think about that. Why are you consuming your life with thinking about these kind of things? Just live your life. And while I feel like all of this is true, at the same time, I feel if you don't take a good check at yourself on a really regular basis and really check in and know that, hey, this life isn't forever. I feel like living in this way, at least for me, mind you, like everyone is very, very different, but I'm just here to share from my own experience, is that if you don't check yourself often, then it's so easy to live in autopilot and have life pass you by and not even realize like what have you been doing, and have you lived a life that you could honestly say has been fulfilled. So I think that from that perspective, it's great just to check in often and remind yourself that life is impermanent. Everything absolutely is impermanent. And like that toddler to that elderly lady, it could happen like this for you. If you're not mindful, how your life unfolds and how you live it depends between that adolescent years and then your retirement years, those golden years that people call it. That is your life in between there. And how you choose to live it, it matters. And to make sure that you live it with intention. So I thought I would base today's video to share, how is it that one is to live in a way that is most beneficial in order to feel like you've fulfilled something in this lifetime and that you feel that, you've lived with intention. So I feel the first thing to think about is being aware of your emotions. So having a real check-in often. It's like, how am I feeling today? What is it that is nudging me and consuming my thoughts? So having a really good check-in often as you go about your day, thinking, what is it that I'm feeling right now? What are some of the emotions that are nudging at me? Am I feeling irritated? Am I feeling worried, or am I feeling some type of fear? And really checking in and seeing how is it that your emotions are driving your behaviors, really. So throughout the day, I'm not sure if this is actually a regular thing that people often think about, or is it just since I started meditating back in 2017, have I really started noticing these kind of awarenesses. As I'm going about my day, I would all of a sudden be aware of like, I'm feeling really irritated and I have no idea why. And then I would all of a sudden dissect, okay, I'm feeling really irritated because of this. Oh, it's really hot right now. Oh, I'm really hungry and it's starting to really get to my happiness, and I'm starting to feel really aggravated with every single little thing. Or it could be that, oh, I'm feeling really happy right now. Why is it that I'm feeling happy? Oh, in this moment, it's because I'm doing these kind of things that brings me joy. And this is basically the thought cycle that runs through my head. And it's not something that's like a checkbox. Okay, how am I feeling? Check. I'm feeling happy. Okay, check. But it's just like a subconscious thing that I do throughout the day. And I wonder if it's really because of my meditation practice, which I'll share with you guys in a little bit. But what I found really helpful was really checking in and seeing what your mental mindset looks like in each moment as you live it. And I find that whenever you have a real grasp of your actual emotions, then you naturally will be able to make better decisions. And being aware of what you're feeling, and then ultimately the decisions that you make gives you the desired outcomes of your life. And those teeny tiny kind of breadcrumbs as you go throughout your day really helps to shape your life and really live an intentional life, they call it. So I find that number one is really to have a check-in of your emotions and making sure that, am I aware of my feelings? What is it that I'm feeling? And how can I shift how I'm feeling based on things that I do throughout the day that would help me get to my ultimate goal, which is to be happy, right? To be calm, to be peaceful, and so forth. And then being really intentional with everything that you do is number two. So how is it that you're going about your day? Okay, you wake up late and you're fumbling throughout the morning to get yourself ready for work or for school, and you're feeling really frazzled. So how about waking up a little bit earlier so that you have more calm and time and feel more relaxed as you get ready for the day? And as a result, you're feeling more relaxed all throughout. These little intentions that you place throughout your day will help to shift your mindset, and as a result, makes you feel better and more on point or on purpose. So I'll share with you guys, this morning, I had to wake up really, really early. My daughter had a bad dream of some sort, and she was just crying at 5 a.m. And I woke up feeling really, really like jolted awake. So as you can imagine, I didn't really have a really good morning. But because I had that time in between 5 a.m. until 8, which is when she went to school, like that duration of time was giving me that space for me to really be grounded and calm. So something that started off kilter throughout in the morning has resulted in a very, very peaceful day for me thus far. Like I feel so in line, so in purpose, in the direction that I'm meant to take. And being intentional with everything you do really to me means that if I allowed myself to wake up, maybe not 5 a.m. every day, but maybe a little bit later. But if I were to be able to take that intention and really wake up early so that I had that space, perhaps before my family woke up and before all my obligation starts to roll in, if I gave myself that space, would I then feel more calmer and feel on purpose every single day? And I think that perhaps, maybe not all the time, but if you actually kind of became more intentional of allowing yourself and giving yourself that space, you would feel much more grounded. So that's just an example of having some intention with everything you do. But I think if you try that out, I think that it would really help you feel really on purpose and really aligned. Number 3, getting off the autopilot mode. I feel that in order for us to get off the autopilot mode, we need to be, again, back to point number 1, is to be having an awareness of our emotions and our intentions, which is number 2. And getting off that autopilot mode really means to have a check-in. Am I on purpose? Am I with the intention and doing everything out of intention and purposely doing something because you want to do it versus just doing it because it's what you've always done and it's just out of habit? And how often is it that we all live on autopilot? And I know that we read a lot about autopilot and we see it all over social media. But do you really recognize it in your life? Do you really see all the different ways that you are actually living on autopilot? And are you actually choosing to do these kind of things, or is it habit that's dictating all of the things that you do throughout the day? And then as the minutes and hours tick by, the end of the day has came around again, and you're thinking, oh my God, what have I done all day? What is it that I've accomplished? And did I live with intention all day long? Or was I busy scrolling on social media? Did I just waste the whole entire day doing really nonsense things? And I hope that I'm not coming across as saying that you need to live with intention every single moment of every day. You could do absolutely nothing and be intentional about it, and it would feel great. That, hey, this time I am going to sit and do absolutely nothing, binge watch Netflix. And I'm intending to do this because I want to relax. And doing that, actually at the end of it, you feel really good because you've intended to really relax, and your choice of relaxation was to binge watch Netflix. And that's fine. But it's like when you're numbing yourself and watching Netflix, but yet your mind is elsewhere worrying about a deadline, for example, then that's not true relaxation. So I hope I'm making myself clear. But living with intention, being aware of your emotions, and getting off autopilot mode really is easier said than put into practice. And this is where I want to share with you my meditation routine. So, like I mentioned, I've started meditating in around 2017 when I call it my spiritual awakening, where I started getting really into the spiritual understanding and really aligning my life to live a spiritual life, and being all interested in all this self-help realm and information. I read that meditation was really good for you. And I started meditating using, it's called the Calm app. I'm sure many of you guys may know about it. So basically it's called Calm app. And it has short 10-minute guided meditations on them. And I give them credit for really helping instill a meditation practice for me, where I meditate every single day, most of the time, even twice a day. Long story short, I meditated for years and it was great. But then what I found was I started to judge myself. I'm like, Susan, now you should be able to meditate longer than 10 minutes. You should be able to meditate for 20 minutes, 30 minutes. And although those ambitions and those ideas were great, but what happened was when I put it into practice, it was bad. So when I started trying to meditate 20 minutes a day, then eventually the consistency just ran dry. So every time when I tried to stretch myself beyond 10 minutes, like I finally realized that was my comfort zone. So what I do now is I do it 10 minutes in the morning, silent meditation. Literally, you don't need anything. You don't need to spend any money. Just take a timer on your phone or wherever you have it available. Put 5 minutes, maybe even 2 minutes for you to begin off with. And then do it. I find that the repetition is key. So it's not about the duration. It's about the repetition to make it a consistent habit. So basically, twice a day is what we're gearing for. Just silent meditation, focus on your breath, something like what we did just earlier at the beginning of this video. So just breathing in, notice that you're breathing in, breathing out, notice that you're breathing out. And that's it. And repeat again and again and again and again. And what I find is when you do this simple practice, I find that you become in tune and aware of your feelings, thoughts, and emotions. It comes naturally with this type of practice. And I'm not going to be making this video about why meditation is so good for you, because I feel there's so much information out there already. If this piques your interest, go and do your own research. I'm not here to convince you that you should meditate. I'm just expressing with you guys what has helped for me and what has helped me notice my emotions, get off the autopilot mode, and living with intention. So, and just the key is the repetition, doing it often enough so that your brain could switch into the observation mode versus, just being on the hamster wheel and not noticing what you're experiencing. So I'll also share with you, loosen your grip on life. So those of you that are parents will know that you can't control your child. You can't control your circumstances. It's not going to happen. Although in life, don't we always try to control our surroundings, our circumstances, our schedule? We try so hard to grasp and hold on to things that are very often out of our control. There is some control that we may have, yes, but every single day there's curveballs that you have to dodge. There has to be fires that you have to put out. You have to redirect your day because something came up. Isn't that just life? And the faster that you can realize that and really just embrace, being on the whim and just rolling with it, is going to make you a more happy and peaceful and calm person. So I'll share with you guys. Yesterday, before we went to the mall, as I mentioned earlier, we were in McDonald's and my daughter was just kicking and screaming, rolling on the floor, yelling. And I kept on telling her, you have to be quiet. There's other diners in the restaurant. You don't want to disrupt them. Get off the floor. It's dirty, and so forth. And then this was going on and on about like 5-10 minutes. And then I found myself, because I was so in grips with the control mode, I was just exhausted. I was so tired. And then I had this realization that, oh my gosh, there's so much that I can do. Really, she is her own person. There's so much that I could try to redirect her and help her stay calm and not disrupt people around her. But at the same time, she's a toddler, and a toddler is going to be a toddler no matter what. It's not like you see an adult throwing a tantrum and screaming in store, and that's a different story. But she's a toddler, so what are you going to do? She's just being a toddler. And I had that realization that, hey, the faster that I could just accept that I tried my best and that I really tried to control the situation, actually control my own child, to not disrupt other people around me, there's so much that I can do. And if she is in that state where she is throwing a tantrum or she just won't listen, I need to release that and just accept that, hey, this is my situation. And as soon as I flipped that switch in my mind and I had that realization that, hey, this is the situation right now, I could just breathe through it and just calm down. And the sooner that I calmed down and I felt more easeful, naturally she became more easeful. But in honesty, it's because the food came and then she was just busy eating at that point. So then she calmed down. She wasn't like rolling around anymore because I think she was just bored. So she was eating, our family ate, and then we left and it was fine. But the point of this story is that sometimes as the day is going crazy and there's all these wrenches that are thrown into your routine, maybe you just need to let go and just release the grip and go, hey, this is my situation right now. I need to work with what is being presented to me. And then you may find peace. And on some days, hey, if you're losing it and you lose control, and hey, that's life too, right? Don't beat yourself up for it. The faster that you can let go of the idea that, hey, you're berating yourself because you have lost it, or you were behaving in a way that was not ideal for you, as the sooner you can let that go as well, then you may find peace. So I think that's about it. But really finding peace and calm and finding the purpose in your life. I filmed my first very chatty video. If you guys search the first introduction chatty video, I shared a little bit about finding peace and calm in your life and why that's the main goal, the main objective, right? And of course, we're all different and our goals and aspirations may be different. But the underlying theme is, you seek AYZ, or you're striving for ABC. The underlying goal is because it thinks that you think that you'll be happy, and that these things will bring you joy, contentment, or whatnot. The underlying goal here is always to be peaceful and to be happy and to feel content. So I hope that I wasn't rambling too much and that I was clear on my message. But yeah, life is just a journey. And just to kind of reiterate about that toddler and that elderly lady that I observed at the mall, really between adolescence and elderly years, in between that time frame is your life. And I hope that these few tips would help shift your perspective and shift the way you view how you do things, and question yourself why you do the things that you do, to bring some more peace and happiness into your lives. So that's all that I have for you today. I hope that no matter what it is that you do, that you find more peace and more calm in your life, and that is the ultimate goal. See you again. Bye now.